Hey guys, this is Ike with Rollout Reviews, bringing you another LBX review. This time it is Hyperfunction Lucifer. This guy is owned by Kosuke Kamiya and is one of the main antagonists towards the end of the first season of Danball Senki. Taking a look at the manual here, we can see the box art on the front looking super cool. I really like the way that looks. On the back we have some product images looking pretty faithful to what you get right out of the box. You have a color guide here if you want to paint it, and a little guide here that shows you where to put these decals it comes with. They're extraneous, they're not accurate to the show, but they are there if you want it to look a little more involved. On the inside we have some pretty easy to follow full color instructions, so no problems there. Let's take a look at the LBX itself in further detail. Now, being part of the Hyperfunction line, this is a much more articulated, much more detailed, and much more involved version of the original kit that came out during the run of the first season of Danball Senki. However, this is also a lot more show accurate than that original version. That one was targeted towards a young boy audience, and because of that, they changed this pink color into a bluish purple. It was also a lot more toy-like, so they made the wingspan much smaller, probably to save plastic, but it wasn't show accurate at all. This targeted towards a collector's audience, has the full wingspan, and is in the accurate, nice translucent pink color, and it looks phenomenal. It also has this really glossy finish to it. It looks great. It shines and stands out on the shelf compared to the matte finish of all of my other LBX kits, including the past two Hyperfunctions. Another thing that blows me out of the water with this kit is the level of detail and intricacies in the plastic layering. I've talked about the plastic layering in the Hyperfunction line before, but this takes it to a new level. Taking a look at some of the steps in the manual, we'll show off the build of the head sculpt. Really involved. There's more than 20 pieces in this tiny little space. Now, I'm sure seasoned modelers will probably find kits that are a lot more intricate than this one, but this is the first one I've experienced with such detail. It does have the inner frame, just like all of the other kits. However, this one is very similar to Achilles in both build and color. The only difference is the size of the neck. It actually has a little bit of a longer neck, and of course, it has the unique core chip, which is really nice. However, when we pull off this chest piece, it reveals something that kind of annoys me with this kit. We have a sticker just sitting right there. Now, obviously, this would be covered up most of the time, but when you have a little feature like that core chip, seeing something like this isn't the greatest thing in the world, I don't think. This guy has quite a few more stickers than the past two Hyperfunctions. Here is the sticker sheet. Now, most of these are on the shield, but there are quite a few on the body itself. Namely, these gray stickers on the skirt armor. The reason these bother me so much is it just seems so simple to have put a gray piece underneath here to cover that detail, but instead they opted for sticker details. Oh well, there's nothing I can do about it. Another issue, I think, with these stickers is that on the front of the torso here, we have some nice translucent linings in there. Looks really great, but when we turn to the back, they opted for sticker details once again, and that transition just doesn't look great at all, unfortunately. Another sticker choice is the stickers on the inside of the head to make the eyes pop, and those are really the only ones that I think are a welcome addition. But overall, he looks excellent. Now, let's talk about his impressive wingspan for a second here, because it really steals the show. This is awesome. Now, in the show, these wings, for whatever reason, just kind of float behind him. They don't actually attach anywhere, and because of that, they have these clear appendages to kind of represent that, I guess. They just plug into the back here, and they have a little peg. Now, it's important that you keep mind of that, because if you turn this, you could risk snapping that off, and that is no good. They don't sit in there too tightly. They kind of wobble around just a little bit, but that's probably just ease of access, so you can pull them off, move the guy around, and plug them back in. As for movement, they just have a rotation here. I think it would have been great if they had a ball joint somewhere, but alas, they do not. It also has a sliding joint here, so you can move those about however you want. The wing itself is made out of a much softer plastic than the rest of it, which isn't too much of a surprise, but it is worth noting. And once again, it just has the excellent details with the ring around there. Super accurate to the show, and once again, much improved over the original kit. Let's go into articulation here. The head is on a couple of joints. It has a hinge down there and a ball joint up here, so you can get some really expressive movement in there. The shoulders, they're a little hindered just because of the shape of the thing, but they go forward and back, in and out. You can rotate the wings out of the way if you'd like. The arm rotates up here and bends a little over 90 degrees on a double joint there. They also have a ball in the wrist. The waist rotates. The skirt armor goes forward and back and is on a little rotation joint there, but it doesn't really rotate all that much. These two rotate much more. However, they are pretty loose, I find, these side skirts, so keep mind of that. The legs, they go forward and back, in and out. Actually, quite tight joints on mine. The knees bend quite far on the double joint there. And the ankles, they go side to side, forward and back. However, this time, instead of having a tilt upward, they actually have a little bit of articulation downward. So if you want to get this guy airborne, and there is a little peg below, so you can put him on a stand, you can kind of tip his feet to kind of get a dynamic look to him. Really welcome addition there. Now he does have these little pieces on the back, and again you can move this back here, but I find that these fall off quite a bit. Just keep mind of that. There's really nothing you can do about it, I don't think. So, with all of that out of the way, let's take a look at his armaments. First of all, you have the Heaven's Edge. Is a really cool sword. Once again, made out of that softer pink translucent plastic, and the details on the hilt is really great. It's got a little bit of pink plastic that shows through there. I have no problems with this at all. It's all plastic, and it all looks great. This pulls off on the end here, so you can slide it through his hand. No problems with that. However, the shield is where most of the stickers are. It does look great, once again having the purple details, or pink details, rather, on the inside there. It once again does kind of a weird sticker thing like it does in the chest, where the stickers don't really sit all that well on the inside there, and then you slap a piece over it. It's kind of fiddly, really hard to explain, especially since I can't pull this off. It's actually a very solid connection there, but trust me, it's kind of weird and fiddly, but once it's all together, I guess it looks fine. It does have all of these details around, which are stickers, and while that is kind of unsettling, it's not too bad. I can let it go. It does look kind of strange up here where the stickers overlap. It has a rotation here on the handle, which is nice. You can have him hold it in various ways, and when we arm him up, he does look great, actually, with his sword and shield. There we go. Oop, let's plug this back on. Now, on top of that, he comes with a couple extra hands. Now, this is a little bit of a problem because he has a very, very similar color scheme to Achilles when it comes to his inner frame. So you kind of have to do a little bit of guessing. Which one's Achilles and which one's Lucifer's? Well, first off, this is the normal hand of Achilles. And if we pull off this hand, here is the normal hand of Lucifer. Very, very similar colors. However, the hand on Lucifer has two little pegs, so you can differentiate them that way. He has a hand very, very similar to the hands that Achilles has for holding his lance. For this, it's a little bit trickier. You kind of have to inspect them very closely and discover that the colors are actually slightly different. And from there, kind of do a guessing game. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. He only comes with one of these, whereas Achilles comes with two. So this allows him to hold the sword at kind of an angle and just looks a little more dynamic, I guess. So plug that on there. Make sure that the back part doesn't come off because the hand is backless. The sword would fall out. So let's just put that back on there like that. The other hand that Lucifer comes with is a dynamic splayed hand. Once again, very, very similar to Achilles. However, it's a little bit more distinguishable. I can only explain it as being more angry, I guess. The thumb is a little more bent, and the fingers are a little more crooked. But if we pull off the shield, once again, not a huge fan of the shield. Even though it does look cool, the stickers just kind of bother me. But put this on here, give him this hand, and get him into some cool one-handed sword poses. Now the wings do make him a little bit back heavy. However, as you can see, they're kind of tilted forward to help with that, sort of offset the balance. However, you can kind of rotate them and get them into positions that are either a little more straight out or more in, so that it offsets the weight just a little bit more and he's more solid on the ground. But either way, that is about it for Lucifer. A welcome addition to the hyperfunction line. In some ways, he excels compared to the other hyperfunction kits. And in other ways, he moves backwards a little bit with the sticker count. It's a little bit worrying, but in the end, it's a great model kit, no matter how you look at it. One problem I think I have with this guy, and it's just because of the order in which they've released them in, is that this guy doesn't show up in the show until after these guys have been upgraded to their second forms. I'd really like to see a hyperfunction Odin to fight alongside this guy, or fight with this guy rather, instead of having Achilles or Emperor. It just seems a little bit off. But whatever the case, it's fantastic. If you like the way he looks, you're not going to be disappointed at all. Once again, more targeted towards a collector, so it's a little bit fiddly. But if you can get over that, it looks incredible on the shelf, and it's definitely worth a pickup. So that is about it, guys, and this is iTrollIX, signing off.